Hello everybody and welcome back to Finance Prep, Finance Made Easy. So today we are going to continue with the second part of chapter number 1. Last unit mein main already chapter number 1 shuru kar chuki thi, and in that we learned a few topics like what is investment goal. Okay, so first you need to figure out what is your financial goal, what do you need, how much of money do you need in it, and in what duration do you need that money. Then you need to understand that before investing in any of the financial securities or financial assets, you need to understand the different steps and the different factors that are to be considered before making an investment. Next topic that we did was very important, that is the different financial assets and their classification. We understood what are the different categories of financial assets in which we can invest our money, and plus what are the different benefits and risk associated with every investment. Few investment might have a possibility or a chance of higher returns, but also at times the amount of risk that is associated with such securities or assets will also be high, like in case of equity. Okay, we also saw a minute difference that is there in savings and investment, and how savings and investment are a part of the same process. So the amount of money that you do not spend, okay, you reduce your expenditure so that you can save certain amount of money, and the amount of money that you save, you try to grow that money, you try to multiply that money by doing different kinds of investments. Okay, so आज की अगर हम बात करें, we'll continue with the same chapter, but now we'll go to the part 2 of the same chapter, and that is about investment risk. Okay, so we'll understand what is investment risk, how there are different ways to measure different risks that are associated with investment. So there are different risks that are associated. We'll understand the different categories, and we'll also understand the different strategies that an investor can use, by understanding the risk. The next part that is there, it is about behavioral biases in investment, where a person's emotions in a way becomes a hurdle or a restriction while making investments, or by these emotions act as a problem, because here you're not able to think rationally or make better investments for higher returns. We'll also understand risk profiling, how you can in a way reduce your risk by diversifying your profile. Okay, the next part is understanding asset allocation, which is a part of risk profiling itself. And the last is a very simple part, do it yourself or taking professional help. You need to do a major decision while making investments, that whether you'll be deciding on your own where do you want to invest your money, or you can also seek professional help of different asset management companies, where these companies help you invest your money. Obviously they charge certain returns for that, but yes, they help you invest your money. Okay, चलिए, तो आज का जो फर्स्ट टॉपिक है स्टार्ट करते हैं. द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड इज व्हाट इज इन्वेस्टमेंट रिस्क. Okay, see, you do any form of investment, कहीं पे भी इन्वेस्ट करो, whether you are investing in equity, whether you are investing in debt, whether you are investing in commodities, whether you are investing in fixed income categories, everywhere there is certain risk associated. Yes, if you invest your money in government bonds, they're one of the safest form of investment, but does that mean it has zero risk? No, it might have the lowest level of risk, or it can be considered as the safest form of investment. Still, there'll be certain risk always associated with different categories of investment. कुछ इन्वेस्टमेंट ज्यादा रिस्की होंगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ यू इन्वेस्ट योर मनी इन इक्विटी, वो ज्यादा रिस्की है, बट चांसेस ऑफ ज्यादा रिटर्न्स भी है. Now, if you invest in government bonds, the risk there is very low, but chances of returns be low hai. Correct? So here I'll tell you what are the different risks that are associated with investment and how that can reduce your investments or your actual spending. Okay? चलिए, सबसे पहला point है that is inflation risk. Okay? देखिए, इन्फ्लेशन जो है वो डायरेक्टली आपके परचेसिंग पावर को रिड्यूस करता है. To understand this, we'll take a very simple example. For example, let us say I have 10,000 rupees and I am opening a fixed deposit account with a bank to invest 10,000 rupees at 7% interest per annum for 1 year. Okay, very simple. I have 10,000 rupees. So I'm a conservative investor. I don't want to take too much of a risk. So I'm putting that 10,000 rupees in a fixed deposit account of a bank. The interest that I will receive is 7% for a period of 1 year. So the lock-in period is 1 year where I have to keep that 10,000 rupees with the bank for 1 year. And after 1 year, I'll receive my principal amount 10,000 plus the 7% interest on that. For easier calculation purpose, let us say 7% is the amount of returns that I am going to receive on my investment. Correct? Now, if I say the inflation during the year was 6% per annum. Okay. Now, what is inflation? Inflation is where the average prices of everything increases. In short, everything becomes expensive. So today, if I say 100 rupees can buy me 1 kg of apple, probably after 1 year, the price of that apple might become 110 rupees or 105 rupees. So every year, the prices keep on increasing, and this is known as inflation. So I have 10,000 rupees. I have invested it for 1 year with a return of 7% per annum. However, because of inflation, the prices of everything has increased by 6%, right? So if I say my ROI, my return on investment is 7% per annum, out of which if I take out my inflation, that is equal to 6% per annum, the actual returns is how much? So, here the actual returns come down to only 1%. Now, let us say there is a war-like situation that was there currently between USA and Iran. Or maybe the Russia and the Ukraine war that is still going on in full-fledged war. In this case, the inflation, average inflation might rise more than 6%. However, your returns remain the same. The returns will not increase drastically. Yes. So sometimes because of the inflation, as your purchasing power reduces, things become expensive. So the same amount of money might not fetch you same amount of goods or services. In such case, because of inflation, your actual returns will decrease or your actual purchasing power, even after getting ROI, return on investment, might decrease. And your financial goals might not be achieved. Okay. Second चीज इसके ऊपर हम फोकस करते हैं, that is your liquidity risk. Now, what is liquidity? Liquidity means anything which can be easily converted into cash. Okay. For example, I have gold. I am in urgent need of some amount of money or cash. I can take that gold to a jewelry shop. I can sell that gold off and I can get cash in return. Okay. But there are certain investments. For example, real estate. Real estate is not highly liquid. I cannot sell it off within an hour or a day or overnight. If I try to do so, I might incur a lot of losses, right? So real estate or securities with a lock-in period, for example, government bonds. Now, government bonds are safe, but they also have a huge lock-in period for 3 years, for 5 years, and so. So in such case, if you are in need of money, in urgency, there's an emergency and you need money, you might not be able to convert your asset into cash. So that is another risk that you need to understand. Okay. Third चीज है, that is the credit risk. अच्छा, credit risk का मतलब क्या होता है और why credit risk? Okay, I'll give you a very simple example here. Okay, if we talk about credit risk, for example, let us say I give 10,000 rupees to X company as loan for 8.5% interest per annum for next 3 years. Okay. So there are certain debt investment options which will give you regular return in the form of interest. So there is a company X. The company said, whoever gives me money as a loan, I'll give them 8.5% return per annum and I'll give them the principal amount back after 3 years. Generally, such companies offer interest higher than the bank or any other post office schemes by the government. A lot of time, because of higher returns, we get attracted and we try to invest in such companies or such schemes of different private institutes or corporates, etc. However, in case a company becomes a defaulter or they become a bankrupt or they don't have enough money to pay the interest, you are in chances of losing your money. A lot of banks who had taken such money in the form of deposits or in the form of loans and then became bankrupt have not returned the money of their investors. Okay, so yes, there is a credit risk, especially when you give money as a credit, as a debt, as a loan. A lot of such risks are involved. You might lose your interest, you might lose your entire principal amount as well. Though there are certain legal laws and certain legal acts that do protect the creditors. However, if the company says, I have become insolvent, I do not have money, and the assets of the company are not enough to pay off the debt, you might lose your money. Okay, ठीक है. Next पे जाते हैं, and the next is the market or price risk. Okay, so you might have seen that mutual fund ad जिसमें बोलते हैं investment is subject to market risk. Please read the documents carefully before investing. Yes. मार्केट के ना एक दस्तूर है, वो ऊपर जाता है तो नीचे भी जाता है. Now the point is, when do you need your money back? Okay, the market price of every security keeps on fluctuating. It increases, it decreases as well. So for example, I need my money after 1 year. When the market is bearish, the prices of all the securities are decreasing. In such a case, if I have invested 100 rupees, I might get 80 rupees in return. Yes. So investments are subject to market risk. It is not always that you will earn profit or you will get better returns. Sometimes, because of the market fluctuations, because of economic dynamics, the prices of securities do fall and you might end up losing your money as well, especially if you invest for short term or if you need your money in emergency. Okay. Next, that is the interest rate risk. A very interesting part. ठीक है, बहुत ज्यादा डिटेल में आपको यहाँ पे एक्सप्लेन नहीं किया है, ये मैं आपको बता देती हूँ. I'll give you an example. आप ये चीज को यहाँ पे समझ जाओगे. ठीक है. For example, let us say there is a company. Okay, there is a company Y. Okay, it has issued debentures for 10 years at 8% interest in 2025. Okay, 2025 में कंपनी ने डिबेंचर्स इशू किए फॉर अ पीरियड ऑफ 10 years and the rate of interest they offered was 8%. Now let us say because of the economic conditions, अभी जो इकोनॉमी में डाउनफॉल आया था, ठीक है, या because of stock market ups and downs, a lot of people are wanting to invest only in safe assets, right? So in 2026, the same company issues debentures for 10 years at 9.2% interest. So now they're offering more interest for the same debentures, same amount, same lock-in period. Okay, everything remaining the same. Will any person be wanting to buy your debentures at the same price or a higher price for a lower amount of returns or interest? So whenever the interest rate increases, the existing securities they become less attractive. Because here I have a promised return of only 8%. However, if I buy debentures from the company right now, I get 9.2% interest. So I will want to invest here and not here. Yes. Okay. So in a way, if you say, whenever the interest increases, the existing securities and their demand will always decrease, because the new securities offered will become more attractive and more beneficial for the investor. So they will always have an inverse relationship. They'll always work in opposite directions. Okay? ठीक है, चलिए नेक्स्ट पे जाते हैं. Now, if you talk about these risks, I believe you must have already understood that there are a lot of categories of risk that are associated with investments. And that is why it is always said, if you're willing to invest for a longer duration, like if you want to invest for midterm or long term, the chances of earning returns always will be higher as compared to short term investments. Okay. But now if we talk about risk, a lot of risk can be eliminated. Okay. Not the entire risk, a lot of risk. Risk can never be eliminated completely from any form of investment. Some risk can be avoided, some risk can be reduced. Sometimes you can choose safer options of investment like government bonds and invest in government schemes, but the risk will always be there. Some investments, some options, some assets might have lower amount of risk, some might have higher, but the risk will always be there. So how do you manage this risk, or how do you eliminate or reduce your risk and still manage to earn good returns on your investment? Because obviously we invest for earning returns. हम क्यों इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, क्यों रिस्क लेते हैं? कि हमारा पैसा बढ़े, हमको ज्यादा पैसा मिले. Correct? Now in this case, what you need to do, first thing, always avoid investment options that you do not understand. Never invest in a scheme or any bond or any equity or any type of investment that you are not aware about. The more you learn, the more you research, the more you understand, the better you can invest your money and the better are the chances of avoiding or reducing your risk on investment. Okay. The second thing, always take position to benefit from some event or development. Now see, the market will keep on fluctuating. The prices of equity shares, the market prices will keep on changing. The interest rate on debt will keep on changing. The gold prices will keep on changing. The different commodity prices will keep on changing. The prices of real estate will keep on changing. But if you understand the changes in the prices and its pattern, you can always benefit from such movements or fluctuations or changes in the market. And for that, you need good understanding of the market so that you can have a clear judgment. So you need to understand the market patterns. I'll give you a very simple example. कोविड के टाइम पे ना सब लोग बोलते थे सोने का दाम बढ़ गया, सोने का दाम बढ़ गया, सोने का दाम बढ़ गया. Why? Why? During COVID, people wanted to wear more of gold at home and sit? No. So it's a normal understanding whenever there is uncertainty in the market, like you do not know what is going to happen next. In such case, the investors will always pull their money from risky investments and put it in safe investments. So when there is a fluctuation in the stock market and the equities, they will sell off their equities, take out the money from there, put it in gold and silver. And that is where the demand of gold overall increases and its prices increases. Now, currently there was an increase in the gold price. How and why? Why did Modi ji say that we do not buy or need not buy gold for 1 year? We should not do that. Why? Because the prices of the gold increased due to uncertainty in the economy as a result of the USA and Iran war. Yes. Now, since there have been a level of negotiations going on, the prices are coming down. Yes. So this is what you need to understand. If you have such market knowledge, if you have the understanding of the market, you can always benefit from such fluctuations. And for that, yes, your superior knowledge is the key. Okay. The next is always diversify. I vouch for this. Never put your entire money into risk. Never put your entire money into safe. Always diversify your portfolio. Take some amount, put it into equity, take some amount, put it into commodity, take some amount, put it into fixed income, take some amount, put it into government bonds, take some amount, put it into PPF. Do that. Yes. So that tomorrow, even if the prices of equity fall, the prices of the gold is increasing. So you're getting returns here, even though here you are in losses. It will try to balance your loss in a way. Yes. So you should always diversify your portfolio, spread your risk across different forms of investments and different assets. Okay. Yes, this is what I vouch for. This is the best thing as an investor that you can do. Okay. Now there are different credit risk measures as well. How do you measure the risk in the market? How do you do that? So there are different techniques that are not a part of your syllabus. But yes, as an investor, there are different methods or calculations or formulas that can be used to measure the amount of risk that is associated with different forms of investments. Okay? ठीक है, चलो next topic पे जाते हैं. ठीक है. Now we have a new topic, and that is the behavioral biasness in investment decision making. First thing, what is behavioral biasness? Behavioral biasness is where your emotions and your biasness towards particular options will in a way force you to think irrationally. See, thinking logically and rationally is where you make decisions only on the basis of research, data, and analysis. But if you're making decisions on the basis of certain behavioral patterns, certain thought processes, because of the market pressure or because of the societal pressure, it is a behavioral bias. And this will force you to invest money into low return security, maybe increase your risk or maybe decrease your returns. So it is very important to know these behavioral patterns and to be aware so that you can take rational decisions and do not end up taking irrational decisions that reduces your return on investment. Okay. What is the different behavioral biasness? The first and a very common is availability heuristic. Okay. Availability heuristic is basically, whenever you think about investing, the first example that comes to your mind, you just take that example and you take your decision, which is wrong. For example, I had a cook in my house whose husband was an investor. Okay. So she always used to tell us that we were very rich. We had 3,000 square feet of a house and a lot of gold. But one day my husband thought of investing a lot of amount of money into gold scheme. He put a lot of money there, lost a lot of money overnight. Our house, our car, our gold, everything got sold off. And that is why now I go to different places to cook food. Right? So whenever I read about any gold scheme or gold bond or any type of investment into gold, the first thing that comes to my mind is no. They lost their money into gold investment. I don't want to invest in gold. But that is incorrect. What a person did or what an example that you have, it is not the only basis of making a decision. You need to do research, you need to understand the market and then decide. Okay, so you cannot rely on the existing information or examples that you have heard from different kind of categories and people. When I was a kid, for me, stock market was as good as gambling because that is what I had heard. But today, if I say it is gambling, no, it is not. Correct? The second thing is confirmation bias. Confirmation bias का मतलब क्या होता है कि I've already made a decision in my mind. Now I am just looking for ways to prove or confirm that my decision was correct. लेकिन इसमें होता क्या है, क्योंकि तुमने पहले ही मन बना लिया है, पहले ही डिसाइड कर लिया है. Now, irrespective of the data that you have, you will only select data that confirms your decision. So you should always be open-minded. You should not always be like, no, this is what is correct. No. Collect data, study data, do your research, find information, analyze information, then take a decision. Maybe your existing thought process is wrong, accept it. Okay? The next is familiarity bias. The most common in India is familiarity and herd mentality. First, we'll learn what is familiarity bias. A lot of people say, I will invest my money only in securities that I know, which some point of time is correct because you cannot invest your money into securities or assets you are unaware about. But then it is important to learn them. If there is a new scheme of the government, if there is a new bond of the government, if there is a new investment option, why not learn about it? Why not study? Why not research? But familiarity concept means where people only want to invest money into assets they're familiar with. Now, for example, my father never invested in equity. He always invested only in property and gold. So I am familiar with that. I've seen that since childhood. I will also only invest in gold and real estate. That is wrong. That is wrong. Okay. The next is the herd mentality, which does exist in India. इंसान है ना एक social animal है. We tend to follow others. We tend to do what others are doing without raising questions, without asking, without researching, without studying. But that is incorrect. That will end up into losses or lower returns. See, most cases में कैसा होता है, जैसे सब अपना पैसा गोल्ड में डाल रहे हैं ना, तो गोल्ड का रिटर्न्स कम होने ही वाला है, because the demand of gold is increasing, so the prices will increase, the returns will decrease. Do what others are not doing, take chances, your chances of returns will also increase. So don't have that herd mentality. Don't tend to follow what others are doing. बस ये कर रहा है तो मैं भी करूंगा, वो कर रहा है तो मैं भी करूंगा. Don't do that. Do your own research. Try to understand the different profitable areas of investment. Invest your money there. सब IPO ले रहे हैं, मैं भी IPO लूंगा. अरे ऐसा नहीं होता है. पहले समझो कौन सी कंपनी का IPO ले रहे हो, उसकी फ्यूचर प्रोस्पेक्ट्स क्या है, उसका मार्केट रिपोर्ट्स क्या है, उसकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग क्या है, उसका 5 साल का परफॉर्मेंस क्या है, देखो तो. Yes. Okay. The next is a loss aversion. Basically, being afraid of making losses. देखो, बहुत सारे ऐसे इन्वेस्टर्स हैं जिसको लॉस नहीं करना है. They're afraid of losses. They're afraid of losing their money. They're very conservative. But at times, when you're too conservative, being conservative is okay. Maybe if you diversify your portfolio, if you're conservative, you invest more amount of money into fixed income return kind of assets. That's okay. But being too conservative, putting all your money only into safe investment options might end up into very low return on investment. And then if you do it inflation adjusted, it might be nothing. It might be nothing. So conservation is good, but being too conservative, being too afraid of taking risks is not really good because that will reduce your chances of earning high returns drastically. Okay. Next, she says that is overconfidence bias, where you think you're the king, you know everything, you understand everything, you're always right kind of attitude. अब इसमें क्या होता है ना, जब आप कोई चीज को लेके ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट हो जाते हो ना, तो कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन, रिसर्च, एनालिसिस, स्टडी करना आप छोड़ देते हो, एंड ये दिन आपका नुकसान होना चालू हो जाता है. So never be overconfident. Before making any decision, even if you have some information, try to gather more information, try to listen to people, try to understand and study the market, research करो, analysis करो, then ही investments करना. ठीक है? The next is the recency bias. Recency का मतलब होता है relying on recent events. ठीक है? तो ये बंदे ने इक्विटी में इतना पैसा लगाया था, उसको 10 गुना रिटर्न मिला. ये बंदे ने गवर्नमेंट के गोल्ड बॉन्ड्स में इतना पैसा लगाया था, उसको 350 गुना रिटर्न मिला, मैं भी लगाता हूं. नो. Just because a recent event has occurred right now does not guarantee it will occur in the near future as well. Just because the government has announced 350% return on gold bonds this year, it does not necessarily mean it will do the same after 3 years. So relying on recent events only is not enough. Okay, understanding recent events, learning them, researching about them is okay. But just relying on recent events and making your decisions, incorrect. Incorrect. Okay? The last is others, where you have certain ethics and behavioral patterns that also, tend to influence your decision making. A lot of people will have different behavioral patterns. Every person is made different. Every person has different behavior. Some people are risk takers. Some people are conservative. Some people are very adamant. Some people are overconfident. Some people have emotions attached with investments. For example, a lot of people invest in property because they have emotions attached with that. Yes, it can happen. So these things will always, in a way, stop you from making rational decisions. And there are chances you might be able to earn higher returns into better securities, but just because of your behavioral patterns or your thought process or biasness, you might lose that opportunity. So whenever you're making a decision, try to avoid these behavioral biasness and always think rationally, think practically, think logically. Okay. So always remember, no emotions during investment decisions. Always, always, always remember this. Okay. Chalo. आगे जाते बेटा फिर to the next, and that is the impact of these behavioral biasness in your investments. Now, why do we understand these biasness, or why do we have to avoid this behavioral biasness? Because it might make your analysis or research of the market poor. Like if you're overconfident, okay, or if you want to only rely on recent data, it might, make your analysis or research about a particular market asset poor, and it might make you make wrong decisions as well. Okay. Second thing is that is ignoring the risk. अब जहाँ पे emotions आता है ना, हम risk देखना भूल जाते हैं. Right now, for example, I'm making an investment decision out of emotions. So I will only look at my emotions. I will not analyze the risk. I will not study the risk. I will not accept the risk. Correct? The next is missed opportunities. Just because you have your emotions or your ethics or some behavioral biasness involved during decision making, you might miss out on certain investment options that might have been more profitable for you. Okay. Suboptimal returns. You might settle for lower returns with the same amount of investment. So always ensure that these biasness will not impact your decision making, or your overall outcome or your overall return on investment might actually reduce. Okay. Now, how do you reduce these biasness? Okay. One thing is what we need to understand, though we know at times we are biased and we make emotional decisions, but हम उसको accept नहीं करेंगे. है ना, हम कहते हैं ना, कोई अपनी गलती खुद मानता नहीं है. It is that way. We will not accept the mistakes. We will not try to tend to do it, consciously, right? So how do we avoid these biasness? How do we, maybe I can say, reduce these biases, because you cannot completely avoid it. आपका behavioral pattern है, if that is your behavior, it is natural. आप उसको अचानक रातों रात change नहीं कर सकते. But how do we reduce this biasness, especially while you're making important investment decisions? The first thing is be aware always. Okay, do not rely on the information that you hear from people. Do your own research, do your own studies, make your own reports, make your own analysis, and then take decisions. The second is always do proper research. Okay, even if someone gives you advices, even if someone gives you certain information or data, you put your own efforts to do better analysis and research. Do not rely on only information that you see in front of you. Okay. Take advice, but only from experts. Do not take advice from any Tom, Dick, and Harry that you see. A lot of people tend to give advice even though they are not expert in that particular field. They might even not know different investment options. They might not even know the difference between a blue chip company, mid-size company and small size company. But they'll give you investment. तेरे को तो ना startup में invest करना चाहिए. तेरे को तो ना ये company का IPO लेना चाहिए. मेरा दिल बोलता है ये company ऊपर जाएगी. No. स्टॉक मार्केट ना दिल से नहीं चलता, ये समझना पड़ेगा, ठीक है? Always make rational decisions. Okay, whenever you're making a decision, it should be completely based on research, analysis, market data, and not based on emotions or feelings or other biasness that are involved. Always make rational decision, thought through करके फिर ही decision लो. If you're not able to do this, there are always professionals in the market that might help you take rational decisions. Okay, so you can seek help from certain professionals. Yes, it might come at a cost. Professionals है तो fees लेंगे या investment returns का एक certain percentage लेंगे maybe. But अगर आप नहीं ये चीजें कर सकते, if you don't have to time to do the research or data analysis or market research, you can always seek help from professionals rather than making incorrect investment decisions and losing your money. Okay. The next is understanding the risk appetite. Now, what is the risk appetite? The amount of risk that an investor is ready to take. That is the risk appetite. Some investors might be willing to take higher risk for higher returns. Some might be conservative, might be okay with low returns for a low risk. So before making an investment decision or even before suggesting the different financial assets to an investor or before designing the portfolio of your client, you first need to understand how much of the risk appetite the investor has. वो कितना रिस्क लेने को तैयार है, ज्यादा लेने को तैयार है, कम लेने को तैयार है, ज्यादा लेने को तैयार है, तो क्या उसकी उतनी फाइनेंशियल कैपेबिलिटी है कि वो उतना रिस्क ले. So there are three things that you need to understand. First, that is the need to take the risk. Not every investor has to take risk. If your goals are long term, okay, मेरे को अभी पैसा नहीं चाहिए, मेरे को 15 साल बाद चाहिए, long term goals है, you don't have to invest too much of your money into risk securities. You don't have to do that. But if my goal is short term, मेरे को 2 साल में 15 लाख रुपए या 20 लाख रुपए का रिटर्न चाहिए, I might have to invest into securities that are risky for higher returns. So the first thing you need to understand is whether you really need to take that amount of risk. If yes, you have to. If no, why would you take risk and have the chances of losing your money? Correct? The next is the ability to take risk. Now, I need to take risk. I need higher returns. I need returns in a short period of time. But do I have the ability to take the risk? Do I have that much of financial stability, financial capability to take the risk? That is very important, because if you're willing to take the risk, it should be supported with financial ability and stability. If you don't have that financial capability or stability, if you lose your money, you'll be left with nothing in your life. वो बोलते हैं ना, रास्ते पे आ जाओगे तुम. So, whenever you're taking the risk, always check your financial ability. How much of risk do you really are able to take based on your financial position? Okay. Willingness to take the risk. Now, there are a lot of people who have the financial capability to take the risk. They have a lot of money, a lot of assets, a lot of property, a lot of gold, but are not willing to take the risk. Maybe they are not too motivated with money. Maybe they don't have goals that they really want to achieve in the short period of time. There are conservative investors. There are investors that don't want higher returns for higher risk. They're okay with lower returns for lower risk. Okay. You have to listen to them and accordingly give them investment options. If my client says I'm conservative, मेरे को risk नहीं लेने का है, मेरे को कम returns चलेगा, I have to listen to them. Okay, so 3 things are very important to check. 1, what is their financial goals? How much of money do they require in how much amount of time? This will help you understand whether the investor really has to take the risk. The second is the income, savings, assets, everything of your investor, to understand their financial capability and stability, to understand their ability to take the risk. The third is the comfort with uncertainty, whether they're okay with taking the risk, whether they're okay with the market ups and downs. If they are people who are conservative, if they are people with low level of courage, you cannot give them high risk option securities, even if they have the chances of higher returns. Okay, so these things are very important for any individual investor or any professional financial advisor to understand, so that accordingly you can give them investment options and accordingly you can design your portfolio where you want to actually invest your money. Okay. Now the next is common questions that are asked for risk profiling. Now these questions you can ask yourself also to understand how much of risk are you really willing to take. These questions can be asked to a client if you are a financial advisor. If you are a person who advises people where they have to invest their money, these are the questions that you need to ask. Like, what is your financial goal? How much of money do you require? When do you require? Why do you require? Okay. What is your investment horizon? Which means for how much amount of time are you willing to invest your money, whether for short term, medium term, or long term? How would you describe your annual income? That will help you understand how much is it financial stability. You should ask that income and expenses both, so that you know how much of money do they have left every month, so that accordingly you can calculate the risk. Okay. How much of the surplus are you willing to invest? Like for example, I had an income of 1 lakh rupees. I was spending 50,000. I have 50,000 left. Is it necessary I invest the entire 50,000? I might be willing to invest only 20,000 rupees. So that is important to ask, how much money are you willing to invest every month or every year? Okay. How do you react to market volatility? Like for example, I need to understand whether my investor is comfortable in taking risk. So I ask them questions. For example, let us say tomorrow, due to certain uncertainties, the stock market falls down. The prices of all the securities decreases. So how will you react? Will you panic? Will you try to sell it off? Or will you stay calm? You will say, okay, if it has gone down today, it might go up today. I'm okay to wait. You need to understand that. What was your experience with investments during market downturns? Like if there were market downturns, if invested before, how did you recover that amount of loss? Okay. Which of the following best describes your risk tolerance? Just to understand how much of risk are you okay to take. They might be people who want to take low risk, so they're conservative. They might be people who are okay to take a little bit of risk, so they are moderate risk takers. They might be people who are very financially stable and are okay to take high risk for high returns, so they are aggressive investors. Okay. How would you feel if your investment fell by 20% in the short term? For example, you give me 1 lakh rupees today, and maybe after a year, the value of that money becomes 80,000 rupees. So what will you do? That will help you understand their willingness to take the risk. Okay. Are they ready to take the risk? Okay. Now, understanding asset allocation is very important. There are basically two strategies that you use to allocate your total amount of investment between different financial assets. So हमने लास्ट लेक्चर में डिफरेंट फाइनेंशियल एसेट्स की कैटेगरीज की थी, जिसमें इक्विटी था, ब्लू चिप कंपनीज, मिड साइज कंपनीज, स्मॉल साइज कंपनीज, आपके फिक्स्ड इनकम एसेट्स थे, आपके कमोडिटीज थे, आपके अदर एसेट्स थे, आपके रियल इस्टेट एंड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर था. तो ये चीजें जो आपकी एसेट्स है, किसी में कम रिस्क है, किसी में ज्यादा रिस्क है. सम हैव हायर रिटर्न्स, सम हैव लोअर रिटर्न्स. So here there are two strategies that are particularly used while allocating your total investment between different assets while diversifying your portfolio. The first strategy is strategic asset allocation. The second is tactical asset allocation. Now, what is it and what is the difference? When you talk about strategic asset allocation, here you set a financial target and then you divide your allocation between equity and debt. So here 50% of your investment is for risk profile, 50% of your investment is for low risk kind of assets. So basically what I do here, for example, I have 1 lakh rupees. I say I'm a moderate investor. So out of that 1 lakh rupees, 50% I will invest in assets with high risk, high returns. 50% of my money will go into fixed income assets where maybe the return is low, but also the risk is low. Okay. So that is strategic asset allocation, where you design your portfolio, diversify into risk type of investment securities and low risk investment securities. Okay. The next is tactical. Okay. Now, tactical is basically you keep on changing the mix, right? For example, if I say currently the market is performing well, now the prices of equities are increasing. So, if I am a tactical investor, I will take out some amount of my investment from debt that was kept for safe investment and put it into equity because I know right now the market is performing well and I might be able to earn higher returns on equity. So tactical asset allocation में हम adjust करके रहते हैं. We don't keep it 50-50 always. We keep on changing the ratio just so that my total returns will increase. So we always look for opportunities and try to grab that opportunities because of the changes, the fluctuations in the market. Okay. The next is rebalancing. Now to explain rebalancing, I'll just give you an example. Okay. For example, let us say there is a mutual fund scheme. There is a mutual funds scheme. Okay. In this mutual fund scheme, I have said that my mix is 50-50. Like, for example, I say 100 rupees I want to earn from equity and 100 rupees I want to earn from debt. Okay. Now, let us say the prices of equity is increasing. So, instead of 100, I am earning 120 rupees from equity. Okay. However, the interest rate on debt is falling and instead of 100 rupees, I am earning only 80 rupees from debt. If you give a scheme and say that 50% of your returns is from equity, 50% of your returns is from debt, and if the market condition changes, this is not in your hand. SEBI gives you 30 days to adjust the ratio so that it can stick to this scheme where 100 rupees comes from equity, 100 rupees comes from debt. So how will you rebalance the portfolio? What you will do is, you will take some amount out of equity. Basically, you will reduce your investment in equity and that amount of money you will invest into debt. फॉर एग्जाम्पल मान के चलो मैंने यहाँ पे 10,000 इन्वेस्ट किया, यहाँ पे 10,000 इन्वेस्ट किया, दोनों में आई हैव इन्वेस्टेड 10,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees. Okay. So I'll take out some amount of investment from equity. I will reduce it from 10,000 and that additional amount I will put it into debt so that both the returns are equal. Now there are some overnight funds and index funds to which this does not apply, but for other schemes, SEBI has given you 30 days to rebalance, to adjust your investment so that you can stick to the ratio. Now this drift will keep on happening, okay, because the market conditions change. There are market fluctuations. So you get 30 days to rebalance or readjust your portfolio. Okay. There are benefits of such kind of strategies where you're trying to manage your risk, okay, where you are taking some higher risk in certain assets, but you're also managing it with low risk, low return assets, okay. Long term, if you're tactically investing, your total returns will always be higher because you're trying to take opportunity from the fluctuations in the market and increase your overall or average returns from different securities. It will help you achieve your financial goals as well. Okay, so when you try to tactically invest or rebalance, so your financial goals, the chances of achieving your financial goals is always high here. Right? Now, as I said, SEBI gives 30 business days to realign, rebalance for certain mutual fund schemes, except for index fund or ETFs or overnight funds, it is not applicable. But for certain securities, yes, you have only 30 days to rebalance if you have to stick to the scheme. Okay. Next पे जाते हैं, the last topic. Whether you are going to invest it yourself or whether you're going to take help from different professionals that are there in the market. Now, there are a lot of asset management companies that offer you, in a way, financial help or guidance and suggest you where you need to invest your money. There are individuals, there are firms, there are banks, there are financial institutes as well that help you design your portfolio based on your financial goals, your risk taking capacity, your requirement, your financial stability, etc. So the question is what to do. खुद पैसा इन्वेस्ट करूं कि मैं किसी का प्रोफेशनल हेल्प लूं? This will depend on certain factors. The first factor is, can you do it yourself? Now, if you're willing to invest your money yourself, the first thing you need to have is the knowledge. If you have no knowledge or understanding of different asset classes, different markets, or different risks that are associated with different investments, it is always to take better to take professional help. So always see whether you have the required knowledge or skill, whether you are able to do market study, allocate that much amount of time. Do you have that financial expertise? Do you have that much of knowledge and understanding of the market? If yes, invest yourself. The best. Okay. Second thing, whether you really want to do it. Like some people are kind of, I don't want to spend so much of time in understanding, analyzing the market. Don't think it is a 5-minute job. Okay. Understanding the market, seeing their fluctuations, the market is dynamic. It will change every day, every minute, every hour, constantly. Taking that data, understanding, analyzing, doing the research is not an easy task to do. Whether you're really willing to put that much amount of time and efforts is equally important. And if yes, if you're willing to do that, do it yourself. If you're not willing to do that, yes, take professional help. Okay? Take help from asset management companies, individuals, etc. Can you afford to outsource? Now, if you obviously take help from certain professionals or asset management companies, it comes at a cost. Like I've already said, they might take certain fees, they might take certain percentage of your return. So are you willing to give that amount of fees? Are you okay to give that amount of expenses? It is very important. See, in India, SEBI has already regulated these charges so that people cannot exploit. But again, the charges are not low, because to learn this, to get that knowledge, to do that market understanding, to design every client's portfolio differently, takes efforts, it takes time, it takes a lot of knowledge and a lot of things to do. So yes, the fees are not that low. And again, the point is whether you really want to make that expenses. Okay, so based on these factors, you can always decide whether you want to invest yourself or whether you want to take help from certain asset management companies or financial advisors who have expertise in giving advice. Personally, मैं आपको एक ही चीज बोलूंगी. I'll give you one single advice. Even if you're taking professional help, do some amount of research to understand whether that person is that capable and knowledgeable, and whether that person will be really able to help you design your portfolio, which will help you achieve your financial goal. Do not choose randomly. Do not just choose the first person that you see. Please. Okay. इसी के साथ आज का भी जो लेक्चर है मैं कंप्लीट कर रही हूँ, एंड हमारा जो चैप्टर नंबर 1 है ऑफ 5A मॉड्यूल वो कंप्लीट हो चुका है. In the next lecture, I will start with chapter number 2. And before starting with chapter number 2, I am going to help you practice certain questions from chapter number 1 and will check whether you really understood chapter number 1 or not. नहीं समझा है, if you have any doubts, you can always drop comments and मैं उसका जवाब हमेशा दूंगी. So signing off from Finance Prep, where finance is made easy for you. Bye-bye guys.